So I think we should start the session now. People will keep on joining. So good evening, guys, and welcome to the webinar. First of all, I would like to thank you all for joining the today's session. So to introduce myself, my name is Rishika Omar, and I am the marketing specialist for DevOps University. So um, I'll not take much of your time. I'll take just few minutes of your time to explain you the ground rules of this webinar and a quick introduction about what our company does and a trainer's introduction. And then I will hand it over to a trainer. So basically, we have set certain ground rules for this webinar. You all will be on mute mode during the session, and you will be unmuted at the end of the session. Secondly, if somebody have any of the queries during the session, they can type their question over the chat window, and a technical expert will answer the query as soon as possible. We are recording this webinar, and you can access this recording by subscribing to our YouTube channel. We'll be providing the YouTube channel link over the chat window. You can click on that link, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be uploading the recording on YouTube channel after the session is over. After a couple of hours the session is over. Yeah, coming to the what our company does basically. So I'll give you a quick introduction about our company. So we are basically globally recognized and the most trusted DevOps certification provider. We design DevOps certification program and award accredited certificates. Actually, our concept is to provide experiential DevOps learning to the IT engineers and the IT professionals. Apart from this, we also provide career counseling, mentoring, training to the fresh graduates, postgraduates from different universities across the globe. So you all can visit our website through the link provided to you over the chat window, and you can get the detailed information. We have so many of the tutorials, setup guides, and material is available out there over our website. So you can access that. You can visit the uh, link provided over the chat window. So basically, this is the on-spot offer we are providing for the people who wants to enroll for our course today itself. And there is a discount offer of 10%. We are providing you the link over the chat window for this also, and you can click on that link, go to our website. Those who wants to enroll for this course. So our next batch is basically going to start from 18th of June, and people who wants to enroll for the course can get benefited from this offer. So this offer is valid only for the webinar day. We'll be sharing the offer link to you over the chat window, and we'll keep on sharing during the session also. So you can click on that link. So now coming to the next slide. So basically, here is a glimpse of some of our customer testimonials. Check out what our customers are saying about us. These are the feedbacks we have received from our clients on the LinkedIn, and here are some more. I have put quite a few of them, and you can, if you want to check more, you can visit our Instagram page, and you'll find more of the testimonials out there, customer reviews out there. Yeah. So coming to the best part, the trainer's introduction. So Anuj, he's having close to around more than 10 years of experience as a DevOps engineer, and he's currently working as a lead DevOps engineer. So our trainers are basically the real-time industry practitioners, and they're having very rich industry experience. So I'll not take much of your time now, and I'll hand it over to Anuj. to brief you about the agenda and the further session. Anuj, over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone guys onto this webinar. So today's webinar is all about CICD pipeline, and you have already got a basic understanding about the DevOps University, what kind of courses we are providing, and what are the different technologies we are dealing. So I personally deal with the AWS Cloud, Azure Clouds, cloud computing, DevOps, CICD pipelines, Docker, containerization, Kubernetes. These are all like different tools and technologies which I not only teach upon, but I also do the real-time work on into my organizations. I'm working in Fortune 200 company, and I'm working as a DevOps lead there. So today we will be discussing about the CI/CD automations, that what exactly we meant with that particular concept, and I have prepared a small demo for you guys to show you like how the Docker related CI/CD pipelines, because Docker is a very hot topic at this moment of time. So we can see that how we can go for a build process, how we can make a custom Docker image, upload it to Docker Hub, and then get it deployed onto the Kubernetes there. So that's the kind of agenda we will be following. So we will be following what is a CI, what is a CD, what's the continuous testing, and of course, what's the benefit of implementing these tools. And we also have the understanding that what are the different best practices you need to consider while implementing the CI/CD automations back over here in this one. So these are some of the concepts which we are going to talk about, we are going to consider, so that we will be able to see like how these concepts are really going to work, and we will be able to have an understanding about these topics back here. So that's kind of a understanding which we will be like having about here. So let's see like how or what are the different concepts we're going to learn about over here, so that we can have a proper understanding about these concepts. Now, very first concept is continuous integration. Now, before even we talk about what is a continuous integration process, let's try to understand that why we actually had a requirement of continuous integration. What was the reason that people went on with the understanding and went on with the concept that yes, we need to go for the continuous integration. Now, before continuous integration, or even in fact, because uh, DevOps is the reason why we are talking about these CI/CD automations. We are talking about containerization. We are talking about Jenkins. DevOps have actually made this possibility that we have now got these all best practices implemented into our development organizations. So that's the reason why we are going to talk about that what exactly is the purpose or the benefit of using the continuous integration here. So before these processes, the developers were pretty much involved in performing these tasks manually. They were taking care of the the code checkouts, the compilation of the source code. A lot of activities they were pretty much doing manually, and they were taking care of those requirements. They were doing the checkout of the code base. Probably some developer is checking out the code, taking care of the build process, taking care of the deployment or process, running some test cases. So that's kind of a process which was being implemented, and which was getting along over here in this one. So that's kind of implementation which we are talking about over here. Now time, because I was also working in the same module, I was also kind of doing the same stuff, like we were checking out the source code from the version control system. We were having some shell scripts, some Python scripts to run the builds, and that's how we were taking care of some of the some of the build related activities, but it was all manual. So my development team was dependent on me to do the things. If I'm on leave, somebody else has to do it, but gradually there is a dependency on a person to take care of these activities. Now with DevOps, of course, everything goes automated. There is a huge potential of automation, which everyone saw that yes, we need to go for the automation. We need to do the things in a better way. We want to get end-to-end implementations done, conducted. So all those possibilities were there, and definitely people talked about that how they can eventually go and have these automations implemented back here. And that's where the origin of continuous integration comes in. Now, this is not something, a new process which you have to define or you have to do. Continuous integration is not saying that you stop your development and do a development in a different way. It's just a small change which we have got over here, the way that how we wanted to modify and the way that how we wanted to do the changes. That's what we are going to talk about. We are going to consider here. So when we talk about continuous integration, just one second, guys, just one second. Yep, sorry guys, some issues with the microphone. Yep. So that was the intention, and I know these things because fortunately my pattern or my career path was also in the same path of DevOps. So I know because I have done all these things, and I remember that I used to do the build and it used to take like 30-40 minutes of activity, and it was very time consuming process. I mean, it was taking all together a whole a new time for me, and it was really a time consuming process there. But things changed, and we got these new processes like continuous integration in the place, which really helps us to see and to understand that how the things can be done in a better way, and we can get the proper attributes back over here in this one. And that's the future of the industry, that how people is talking about there, and you guys are showing interest in these processes because there is a value add on. Now, I will also explain you guys that what's a value add-on you will be able to get, because I have worked before CI and I've worked after CI also. So that it will be easy for you to understand that what's the collective benefits you're going to get over here. Now, when we talk about the continuous integration on a whole, what happens is that we are going to talk about that how the particular things are going to work, how the particular automations are going to be performed over here. So continuous integration is focusing. I'm just going to cancellate continuous integration in a single line, that what exactly is continuous CI/CD automation all about there. So continuous integration is a process in which you integrate your source code regularly into the version control system. Now, this is also very important that as a developers, you should be having, or you should be storing your source code into the, like a version control system, that too very frequently. That's a frequent task you should be doing, preferably like multiple times a day. And the reason why we are trying to do this, why we are going in this direction, is to make sure that we are taking care of the automation in a perfect way, in a perfect manner. That's the future which we wanted to go, we wanted to achieve over here. Now, once you check in the the source code in the version control system, what will happen, that automatically the build will be triggered, automatically the test cases will be triggered, and automatically the deployment will also be triggered there. Right. So if I show you through a diagram so that you can have an effective understanding. Now, this is how we actually go and take care of the functionalities, take care of the particular stuff over here, so that we would be able to know like how these tasks are going to work, and we will be able to get these details here. Yeah. So earlier, I have already explained you that scenario that the developers used to check out the source code, run the builds in the local system, and performing the test cases. The QA professionals are again going to take care of the testing and validation, and they are like pretty much going up in that direction. So that's kind of implementation which was being done there and which was implemented. But over the period of time, things changed, and we definitely have got a new process and scenarios coming down the line over here in this one. Now, when we talk about continuous integration, we are talking about certain scenarios. For example, so continuous integrations promotes that you should be, as soon as you're done with the changes, publish those changes directly to the remote repository. That's something you should be doing. You should be taking care of that stuff. So you should be publishing your changes directly to the remote repository. That's kind of a way out or a solution you should be providing so that the source code simply gets integrated into the version control system. That's what we have to do. We have to perform. After that, we are also going to talk about that how the things are going to work, like how the particular implementations are going to be expected over here, so that we will be able to see like how the things are going to work, and we will be able to get those values back over here in this one. So there are like multiple implementations which we are going to talk about, so that accordingly we can see like how these things are going to work, and we will be able to get those flexibility here. All right, so that's what we are trying to, we wanted to do over here. Now, as a developer, I go and check in my source code. Automatically, the code will be published to the particular version control system. That's kind of, like the activity we are doing. So it can be any version control system. Once the source code is published to the version control system, automatically the build trigger will happen. You will be able to see like the build trigger is getting or it's coming over there, and a build process is going to be executed, the test cases is going to be executed, and depending on the response, success or failure, we will be able to get the results there. And that's the kind of implementation which we are going to talk about, we are going to consider over here, so that accordingly we will be able to see that what's the different implementations we are going to talk about, and we are going to consider over here. So that's kind of implementation which we are trying to consider over here, so that we will be able to get the results also. So that's kind of a specification which we are talking about here. And this is overall going to be automated. Now, you may also ask me a question that why we are doing this automatic process over here. We could do it manually also. What's the value add on we are getting over here? One thing is that you don't have to depend on me as a DevOps engineer. Let's say that I'm working as a DevOps engineer and you're working as a developer. So you don't have to depend on me to do these activities. All right. That's one thing. Second, if you expect that these processes are not automated, and rather than that these processes are a little bit like a manual, so you can expect that if this process is going to take 20 minutes automatically, it will take maybe 1.5 hours, or whatever the time duration a person takes, it can take more time there. Sometimes maybe a possibility that QA professional is not there, he is on leave. Now you did the development, but you're not getting the feedback, you're not getting the proper feedback, whether the source code is working fine as expected, or if the source code is working fine, if there is any kind of additional things you could do over here. So that's not something which is really possible over here. So definitely that's a concern, that's an area of concern there, that you are doing, you keep on doing the development, the QA professional is not there. You did the 20 TT commits in a day. After that, you suddenly got to know that your source code is not working. So delay in feedback is always going to be a problematic for you, because you will not be able to know that how your application is really going to behave. So in order to get the feedback properly, in order to get the feedback uh, faster, we are going for the continuous integration process here. So if I wanted to summarize continuous integration, it's a process where we are defining that how a build automations, how a test cases automations would be done, and we will be able to get the expected results back over here in this case. So you don't have to wait or depend on anyone to share the feedback. If you have done the changes, wait for 5 minutes, wait for 10 minutes, you will get an automated emails about the success or failure. If the source code is failed, you can simply go and you can fix it up. You can fix the source code and you can get the expected results back there. Right? So any problem in the source code, you can identify immediately the matter. The moment you are going for the changes, you will be able to know those particular values back over here in this one. So that's kind of a benefit which you will be able to get the moment you're talking about the continuous integration process here. So continuous integration again is a process in which you will be continuously committing or publishing your changes to the version control system, so that the moment your changes are done, the moment your uh, development is completed, you will be able to see an automated process which will take care of the build process, which will take care of test cases automation, and it's purely automated. You don't even have to log into the Jenkins, and after certain time or after some couple of minutes, you will be able to get the proper values back over here in this case. All right, so that's kind of implementation which we are talking about, using which we can see like how the implementations are really going to work, and we will be able to get the expected results back over here in this one. So this is the true nature of the continuous integration process, and that's why it's very important for the organizations, because they feel without this they are like doing a lot of things manually, and the kind of instant feedback which is being provided by the build automation and the test cases is what is very important back over here in this one, and that's why people are looking forward for this particular options here. All right, now of course continuous integration is only taking care of the particular build automations and the test cases automation. We do have two processes which is available. Now, when I say CI/CD pipeline, a lot of people say continuous deployment. A lot of people say it's continuous delivery, but we need to understand there is a slight difference also which is available over here. They are not the same. There is a difference which is available over here, and that's what we are going to talk about over here in this one. All right. Now, when we talk about the continuous integration, so continuous integration is something in which we are saying that how a build automations is going to work, like how we are going to take care of this build automation so that we will be able to get these details here. Now, whether you're going for continuous deployment or whether you're going for continuous delivery, you are going to get the proper values back over here in this one, which means like the continuous integration is the basic. Without that, it's not going to work for you. So you have to essentially go for the continuous integration first, and then you will be going for continuous delivery and a continuous deployment here. Now, if you focus over here, it's a pre-request, which means you cannot go for continuous deployment or delivery without continuous integration. It's important over here. It's important that you have to go for this option, and then only you will be able to go ahead and you will be able to make these things work there. But if you don't do that, if you don't work on that, you're not going to get the proper values and results back here. So it's super important for you to have these continuous integration implemented as a prerequisite, because once it's implemented, then only you will be able to go for the continuous delivery or a deployment over here. All right. Now, what's the main difference between a continuous delivery and a deployment? Because after continuous integration, which is a build automation or a test cases automation, we are definitely going towards the deployment automation here. So that's what we are trying to proceed. I mean, we are taking care of the acceptance test, deployment to a staging environment, deployment to a production environment, smoke test. But the real difference is actually on this parameter here. This is where the difference is. Why? Because, for For example, I'm working in a financial organization. I cannot certainly go for a continuous deployment process because in continuous deployment, the whole build and deployment is happening in a single shot. I mean, in a single shot itself. The moment you're done with the changes, it will be able to go ahead till the production deployment, and that's something which is going to happen. So that's kind of a problem which we are getting over here, because that is something which is going to cause the trouble and issues back over here in this one. So when we talk about continuous deployment, it's like a kind of a process in which you will be able to take care of the build and the deployment automation in a single shot itself. But this may not be, like this may not be uh, uh, this is not something where we will be we are trying to see that how exactly we are going to talk about, and we are going to proceed over here. Now, continuous deployment, why I cannot use in my organization, because uh, my organization is financial organization, and it cannot straight away go for the production deployment. So it we have to take some particular approvals from the stakeholders. We have to take some kind of approvals there. We want to get some kind of validations done. Some manual validation is available there. So in those cases, definitely we need to have the particular continuous delivery over there, because continuous delivery deployment may not work for us because we don't have the that kind of automation, or we don't have that kind of standards there. So if you want, like you want to go for a continuous delivery, then you can always do that. But in that case, there will be a manual deployment. So most of the financial organizations, including me, because I have also worked in 5, 6 financial organizations. So we unfortunately have to go for the continuous delivery there, because in that case we are actually doing the deployment to the production environment manually, and that is something which we wanted to do, and we wanted to perform it up there. But if we talk about the continuous deployment, it's like something which is going to take care of the build and deployment in a single shot itself, which means like you don't have to worry about the approvals. It's all going to be automated, and you will be able to get the expected results back over here in this one. So this is the only difference which we have got between the continuous delivery and a deployment, and definitely that's kind of a primary difference which we are talking about here. So those organizations who are startups, who are not worried about the downtimes and they want to do the instant deploys, they can go for continuous deployment. And those organizations who are working on a mission critical applications, they want to take some approvals, they want to do some kind of manual validations, they can go for the continuous delivery. But in either way, we call it as an CI/CD pipeline, CI/CD automation back over here in this one. The only difference is the actual implementation, that the way that how these things really works, and the way that how these implementations are going to be performed back over here in this one. So that's the only difference, but rest of the other things are almost going to be the same only, and we don't have much difference on that particular aspect. All right. Now, so this is what we call it as in CI/CD. So if I want to summarize CI/CD in a single shot, in a single statement, so it's nothing but a build automation, test cases automation, and the deployment automation. So that's what we can relate with the CI/CD automation back over here in this one. Now, which tools you wish you want to use? You want to refer, like you want to go for Maven and Gradle, Jenkins, TeamCity, Bamboo. There are a lot of tools which is actually available in the market. If I just show you the different, the tools which is available there. So you have the AWS Code Deploy, Octopus Deploy, Jenkins, TeamCity, Bamboo, GitLab, Kubernetes. There are a lot of tools which is available, using which we can go for the CI/CD automation, and we can go for that particular implementation. So it's not only one tool which we are talking about, it's like multiple tools which we have got over here in this one, using which we can see like how the implementations are really going to work. So that's a kind of flexibility we are getting over here when it comes to the CI/CD automation. So according to your organizations, you may choose whatever the tool you wish, like you want to refer. you can use with that particular tool, and accordingly it will function and it will work it out for you. So that's purely depends on your organizations there. Now this is what in a graphical manner the CI/CD pipeline looks like. You can see that this whole pipeline is going to get started with the with the particular code changes, like a commit in the version control system. Once that is done, so what will happen that you will be able to see like build automation, unit test cases, integration test cases. You're doing the review, you're doing the staging deployment, then you're taking care of the production deployment. You can have a separate one also. I mean, if you wish, like you want to have a separate CI/CD automations, if that's the kind of approach you want, then definitely you can do, and you can take care of that stuff. If you wish, like you wanted to do it differently, like you wanted to um, have a single pipeline, that also you can do. Both the possibilities are there. So in Jenkins, both the options are available. Whatever option it's suits you, we can definitely go for that option, and accordingly we can function top with it. So that's kind of like an option which we will be able to get, so that we will be able to get those possibilities back over here in this one. So that's kind of flexibility which we will be able to get, and we will be able to perform those things back here. All right. Now, what's the benefits? Small code changes. First benefit is with the help of continuous integration and delivery. So that's something which is always a benefit there, because with this one, it's really going to help you to see like how the things are going to work, and how essentially we're going to talk about there. Because with this one, there are like some couple of benefits which we are going to do. We are going to see, so that we will be able to have those possibilities back over here in this one. So there are like some couple of standards and benefits which we are getting, so that using which we will be able to have those options back over here in this one. So that's kind of flexibility which we will be able to get when we are talking about all these things and all these particular setups back over here in this one. Right. Fault isolation, this is what I have already told you, that fault iterations is something which is also possible, because if for some reason, if it's there are some issues, uh, immediately within couple of seconds you will be able to know like if there is any kind of issues which is available there. So that's definitely kind of results you will be able to talk about, you will be able to consider. Now definitely these are kind of the implementations which we are talking about, so that we will be able to know like how these code changes we will be able to identify, and we will be able to manage those things back over here in this one. So that's kind of validation which is going to be worked, so that we will be able to get those details back here. So there are like a lot of flexibility and options which is available there, and using which we will be able to see like how the different functionalities are going to work, and we will be able to get these details back here. So that's kind of implementation which we are going to talk about here. All right, now faster release rate, because you're doing the builds and deploys faster, so the release cycle is also a little bit faster, and that's a kind of advantage there for the organizations, because for them it's going to be quite faster, and they would be able to get the expected results also. So that's kind of a way out of the solution which we wanted to make out, and we wanted to do more testing. Every commit you're doing the testing and validation, so definitely that's also a kind of a benefit which we will be able to get, that how these things are going to be performed, and we will be able to get those values here. So that's a reason why it's always a good options to like go ahead and see those possibilities back here. So that's That's kind of a solution which is being used there. All right. More testing, and ultimately, since you're doing the things automation, so automation standard benefits is a cost factor. So cost is like something which is definitely going to be a particular parameter which will help you to go in with that particular part. So that's also like a kind of advantage which you will be able to get, that how those things are really going to work there. So these are the different benefits which is really going to help you with all the different possibilities. All right, so these are the couple of benefits which we are proposing, which is like really going to help you to give you the expected results back over here in this one. So that's kind of advantage which we are going to consider here. All right. Now I have some couple of diagrams for you guys, to relate that how these things usually works and what kind of automation we are really talking about over here. For example, if we talk about the possibilities and the solutions, so we are talking about it, how these things are really going to work, like how you can go and you can talk about the different options which is available there. For instance, like when we talk about the Ansible, so in there we have an option that yes, how the things are going to work, like how we wanted to perform the setup there. Now in this case, you do the check-in to the GitLab or whatever the version control system. Using the webhook, automatically Jenkins will trigger the build, and it will take care of the build process, test cases automation, or whatever the other processes are there. It's going to take care of that. And once that process is done, you will be able to get the particular, like um, you will be able to get the proper values and the response back here. So using that, you will be able to find out that how these tasks are really going to work, and you will be able to get the process configured back over here in this case. Right, so you invoke Ansible because there are only two options which is available in the market for deployments. One is like if you are deploying to the particular you are deploying to the specific virtual machines, then in that case you take care of the particular automations, like you take care of the Ansible. So using Ansible, you can take care of the deployment. If you are doing the deployments to the containers to Docker, then in that case, the Docker and Kubernetes comes in the picture. For example, this one is also talking about the same stuff, and but this one is a little bit better. So let me show you. Now let's say that as a developer, you are contributing to the version control system, to the Git version control system. And due to the automated triggers, what will happen that automatically the build is going to be triggered. That's something which is going to be invoked over here. So what will happen that depending on the tool, I have already notified that it's not only Jenkins can be used for this one. Of course, Jenkins is the most popular tool available there, but there are like all the other tools also available in the market. Plenty of tools are available using which we can do and perform the similar kind of tasks there. So it's definitely not only Jenkins which can actually take care of these stuff there. So a lot of tools can actually go and take care of that kind of possibilities and the solutions there, right? So that's kind of implementations which we are talking about also, so that using which we can see like how the different modifications and the changes are going to be performed, and we will be able to get the expected results back over here in this case. Once the code or build pipeline is triggered, it's going to upload the Docker image to the Docker Hub or to the Docker registry, right, to the image registry, and then take care of the deployment. And it can take care of the deployment onto Kubernetes or any other platform there. So you would see that this kind of like segregation over here, this is where you differentiate from a CD and a CI process. So how CI and CD is quite different from each other. That's kind of confirmation you will be able to get over here in this one. So that's kind of a valid confirmation you are going to be um, considered, or you're going to be you can consider, or you can set up those things back over here. So this is kind of implementation which is available, using which you can take care of those possibilities and the solutions there. All right. So this is the ultimate solution which we are talking about, or we are trying to consider over here. Now I will be also like showing you this particular demo over here, right? So I will show you this particular demo, but before that I'm just going to cover one last slide, and then we would be moving towards this small demo over here, so that we can understand that how or what are the different concepts we're going to talk about, and we are going to consider those things. So that's a kind of implementation which we are going to talk about here. All right. Now, while implementing DevOps, we have to certainly see some standards also. Like that's also like something which we need to do, and we need to talk about, because using these standards only, we wanted to see like how these implementations would be done. Now, the first standard is of the CI/CD automation and pipeline: commit early and commit often. So we don't want to keep our commits locally in our local repository itself. We really wanted to store it up into a remote repositories. That's what we really wanted to do. So in that direction, what we're going to do is that we can go for the particular continuous integration and continuous deployments. But if you're not doing the commits frequently, there is no benefit of using that stuff there. So it's important that you should be doing the commits more often and more regularly over here in this case. Second, keep the build screen. If you're seeing any kind of error, I mean, the second and fifth point is almost the same, that if there is any kind of a builds which is broken, or which is like causing any problems or issues, or which is having some fundamental, yeah, issues available there, some compilations are failing, some codes are failing, take an immediate call. Fix those things immediately, because we don't want to keep the failures into our system. We really wanted to make sure that these are working perfectly fine as expected at certain times there. So we wanted to make sure as much as possible that our builds should be neat and clean and green, and it should not be frequently filling it up there. If it's failed up, go fix it up and resolve it. And that's the kind of implementation we are talking about, we are considering over here. Streamline your tests. That's also a kind of a benefit we are talking about, that you have to streamline your test cases over here. So that's also like one thing you wanted to consider, you wanted to specify, because we really wanted to make sure that our test cases are perfect, and they are working as expected, and we wanted to go in that particular direction. So test cases automation is something which is very, very important back over here in this one. Release often. um, Go for the deployments frequently. That's also one of the concept we should be handling, because if we wanted to go, or we wanted to achieve the thing, so release frequently is something which is very important, and we wanted to go for that particular possibility here. So release often is a very, very important thing, and we should be following that particular stuff there. And last one, define a release and rollback strategy. Design your Jenkins pipeline in such a way that you will be able to have the rollout and rollback, both strategies implemented, and you will be able to get the proper results back over here in this one. So that's kind of a flexibility which we will be able to get, and we will be able to conduct back over here in this one. All right. So these are certain CI/CD automations best practices which we talk about and we consider over here. Now I'm going to show you one pipeline over here, which is like taking care of that stuff, and I'll show you a small demo also on there, that how those things really works and what the flexibility we get here. Right now, I'm using a version control system. This is my version control system, which is available there, which is having the source code. I have, my Java source code, which is available there. Now, what I'm trying to do is that I'm taking care of the possibilities. I'm taking care of the solutions that how a CI/CD automation needs to be taken care, needs to be conducted over here. So that's what essentially we are trying to perform it up here. Now, I have created a Jenkins file. This is a Jenkins pipeline here. Now in this, I'm just taking care of certain build practices, like some particular standard stages I have talked about. For example, checking out code base, doing the Maven build, performing the Docker image cleanup, building out the custom Docker image. You can see, like, I'm having some couple of steps which is related to the Docker image built out. That's what we are trying to do. We are trying to perform it up over here. So that's what we are trying to see, so that we will be able to get, or we will be able to have that particular options back over here in this one. So that's kind of an options uh, we will be like defining, and we will be doing it up over here. And then I'm pushing it up to the Docker Hub, like I'm pushing the Docker image to the Docker Hub, and then ultimately I'm deploying it up over here in this one. So using the kubectl command, I'm going to deploy my Kubernetes onto my the Docker image on my Kubernetes here. So in a true sense, this is a continuous integration and a continuous deployment, because build, deployment, everything is going to happen in a single shot itself. And that's the kind of advantage we are looking forward and we are implementing over here. So this is very important, because this is the true end-to-end pipeline which we are talking about. We are considering back over here in this one. Now, if I have to show you, like, using this Jenkins pipeline, I already have a Jenkins and Kubernetes clustered created. This is my Jenkins. Of course, when we will be running a particular course, we will be doing this stuff in pretty much a detailed manner. Right now, since for the webinar, we have done a lot of preparation already itself. So that's why we are showing you a kind of a overview over here. But since it's a 1 hour only, so not everything will be covered in depth there. But we will be, like, we have these kind of things into our particular regular sessions that we can go and we can have these particular implementations done live there. In fact, you guys will also be doing parallelly with me when we do the actual sessions back over there. So I'm just going to create a quickly pipeline for you. Doing the build now here. Of course, I don't have the automated builds, but if I have the time, I can configure that also. So a certain steps, like, I mean, step by step, it will be going up. Of course, this is not going to fail because I have already tested this, and this is a tested source code. But during the regular sessions, we do a negative testing also, and we showcase that how the errors are going to come and what's the problems we are going to face over here. So that's definitely a kind of a validation we also perform there. So you can see here that we have got certain steps executed. I mean, like, certain steps are performed over here in this one, and you are getting the proper response back over here. So this is the true deployment. Now you would say, like, we are getting just a stage, like a successful message over here. So how come we can say that it got deployed? We can say that particular deployment is successful by Docker Hub. You can see my Docker image is just uploaded 1 minute ago only. So I can delete it and I can show it also. So this is something which is coming up over here. I mean, from the logs also I can identify the Docker image is definitely pushed to my Docker Hub. And after that, it's doing the deployment of my pods there, and it's connecting to the Kubernetes using the kubectl commands and doing the deployment. So you can see like the Kubernetes is getting deployed, and of course I don't have the complete setup, but if you have the proper Kubernetes setup, we could simply go and access our web application also back over here in this one. Now this is one of the possibility. You want to do a deployment to EKS, AKS, or you want to do a deployment to Amazon Cloud, or you want to do a deployment maybe of Lambda functions, Elastic Beanstalk, or App Engine, or do a deployment on to the Ansible. You need to invoke Ansible. All those possibilities are available there, and essentially these are like something which we are talking about into our DevOps course also, because Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, these are all part of our course there. And you can see like how easily I have brought down all these different tools together. I mean, my Docker image is also getting built out properly, right, automatically without any kind of a manual interaction. The authentication is happening, the Docker push is happening, so all that particular task is happening back over here in this one, and I don't have to even do any single one task over here in this one. So that's kind of a benefit and an advantage which you will be able to get back over here in this one when we talk about these functionalities here. All right. So this is the way that how we implement the CI/CD automations in the true sense. How we would be getting the stage view over here. So from the stage view also you can get an understanding that how the implementations are going to work, and we get the expected results back here. And such like integrations, you can have any number of integrations done back over here in this case, so that accordingly it will work on that particular part. All right. So this is what we have into our CI/CD pipelines. And of course, we cannot say CI/CD pipeline with the Jenkins. We have a lot of tools available there. But into our DevOps course, we talk about the Jenkins because it's a quite popular tool available, and it's kind of a market leader there. So that's what we are going to talk about. All right. So with this one, we are pretty much done with the topic. So we can open the particular doubts and queries. So, if you guys have any kind of questions or doubts, please share in the chat window.
So thank you, Anuj, for the wonderful session. We are unmuting all of you now for the question answer round. So you can ask your queries one by one.
No, Shireen. So what will happen that the automated test cases will be automatically integrated in the pipeline. In this one, I'm also running the JUnit test cases, but if there is any kind of integration test cases or those possibilities or regression test cases, that will all come up into the same pipeline here. I mean, I can share my Git repository over here. It's having a particular file called Jenkins file. So this is a public repo which everyone can access, and you guys can actually have a look on this, right? So because this is a shared like a public repo, so everyone should be able to like access this one. So just go ahead and you can see the Jenkins file which is having the pipeline. Of course, Ria. So depending on the requirement, you may have to do a little bit modifications, changes. The same, things may not be working up or may not work as such over here. So guys, course and the syllabus cost related, like questions, the DevOps team will be able to handle those, right? So as of now, let's focus on those portions which is related to the to the CI/CD pipelines, because the information about the course and all, we will be giving you detailed information about that, and we will try to provide that particular stuff there. Okay, sorry, I just going through the questions one again. So Tamil Selvan, I have already shown the CI/CD workflows. See, the test cases difference between the test and acceptance test is just a different level of test cases which you will be integrating, and it totally depends on what kind of test cases you want to run. We also have the regression test cases and all that stuff there. Atul, one level of testing would not be sufficient. So we may have like five, six, like for example, in my organization, we are doing 5 level of testing because whenever you're doing the deployment, every test cases is touching upon different aspect. For example, acceptance test cases is from a client perspective. You may be doing the stress testing, you may be doing security testing. So every testing is having its own way or its own reason. So that's why you may see different levels of test cases here.
Uh,
Yes, Pramod, we are
Thank you,
using
Anuj.
Jenkins over. Yeah.
Hi, Anuj. Thank you so much that you touched upon that question. So now, in continuation to the same question, I understand there can be an n levels and an n number of types of tests. The only point that I want to understand here is, I mean, when we were talking about the difference between the continuous delivery and deployment, now in one strategy we rely upon the automated tests, whatever their degree be, right, and whatever their types be. And in the other approach, we still perform some validations or we seek approvals and then we do the manual deployment. So I just wanted to understand as to what's the fundamental reason behind seeking those validations. I
Uh,
mean, all those n
it's not
types
like
and n levels of tests can still be automated, right?
no, it's not like that. I think we misunderstood that particular concept. When I say manual approvals means like whether there is a go ahead of the deployment or not here. We have 100% automated test cases. We are not doing any manual test cases. There is no manual testers also with us there. The reason why we could not for continuous deployment because uh, when we want to proceed with the deployment, we get a go ahead from the client, from the customers, that whether in certain window, in certain duration, we can do the deployment or not. Because we are a bank, we cannot just like that go down and work it out there. We have to inform our clients. They will do a proper review of the changes. They will give us the approvals. For us, the approvals are not within our organization, but it's from outside stakeholders there, although we are following the complete automation, but still because of this additional external parameters on which we don't have any control, that's why we had to go for the continuous delivery there. So there might be multiple reasons for that, but test cases may not be the only reason that why we go for the continuous delivery. There might be some additional approvals, or maybe you have to wait on a certain day during a certain deployment window to do the deployments.
All right, thank you. And then just a follow-up question. I mean, you have talked about a deployment on a specific window. By the way, is that automatable using any CI/CD tool, Jenkins
I'm
maybe?
using the Jenkins only for doing the deployment on my OpenShift environment. That's automated. But the only thing is that I have to click a button. So that's a manual efforts. But it's not like I'm doing some kind of a manual deployment, some commands, manual work I'm doing. It's
Got it.
taking hardly 15-20 minutes, but still it's just a manual trigger is there. That's all.
I got it. So it requires a manual intervention.
Yes, only in for the trigger perspective, but deployment is
Got it.
pretty much automated.
All right. Thank you so much, Anuj. Thanks for this
Thank
session.
you. Yep, thank you. Yes, Dipti, this is a Jenkins tool, so you will be able to you will be able to see that particular options back over here in this one. Just Jenkins can be integrable with the GitLab, GitHub, Bitbucket, with anyone. GitLab is just a tool over here. It's just an image thing. We want to use GitHub. I have used GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitLab, all the tools with the Jenkins, and it works perfectly fine. Sam, there is no difference between the DevOps engineer and developer working in CI/CD environment. They are pretty much in the same role. The only thing is that uh, since developers, if they don't have the understanding of much of the CI/CD workflows, that's where the DevOps engineer comes in. I have seen that a lot of organizations, developers itself taking care of the CI/CD workflows without taking help from a DevOps engineer. A lot of developers are expected to have a DevOps engine understanding. So right now in our organizations, DevOps is not something which is like a separate role. A lot of developers do comes in into our sessions for that DevOps understanding because their development team is expecting them over here.
Hi, Vivek here. I have
Yeah.
a question. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, is any language dependency kind of stuff like, for example, currently I'm working as a WPF and C# developer. Okay, and in my company they are currently they are not following this kind of. Okay, so like
So
if you want to,
WPF, WCF, these are the two frameworks. I have a little bit experience on this when I was, like doing the development on these tools there. But pretty much having the automated there. So Jenkins is I'm using Jenkins only for doing the VB.NET, C Sharp, Visual C++. So these technologies from a .NET perspective, I'm building. Of course, we have moved on to the .NET Core now, and we are not using a Windows platform, but still, Jenkins is the primary parameter which we are using there. So we are using a single parameter only for all the related builds: Android, Java, Node.js, AngularJS, Spring Boot, .NET Core, VB.NET, C Sharp, Visual C++. So you don't have that restrictions.
okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions, guys? Yes, YAML and Python is mostly widely implemented languages or the additional tools which is required in DevOps. If you have understanding of either these, it would be perfect. These are not that much difficult, but you don't need that much in-depth understanding also. If you have a basic or intermediate one, still you will be able to survive there. It's not on daily basis you have to do in something on Python, so it's just on basis of requirement only.
So Anuj, I have one question. Like I have seen, like in a Jenkins file, you are doing something like creating an image, Docker image, and you are pushing into Docker registry file. So I don't have much knowledge about Docker, but I am just learning. So I wanted to know like what is the role of Kubernetes and here in Docker, like that Kubernetes is handle everything to like push the code in Docker image like that.
See, the thing is that first of all, in these technologies, you don't have to worry about development there because you don't have to do any kind of a development. And even if you are new to these technologies, Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes, these are the hot topics. If you just focus on these technologies, that's going to definitely have you a particular, functionality which you will be able to get there.
Okay, so like when I see like you ran some Kubernetes commands here, like gives tell get ports something like that. So what is the like purpose of that code, that commands?
See, those commands are something which is going to be interacting with the Docker. For example, if you interact with Docker, right? So you are running
Mm-hmm.
those. So you're doing the builds command. You're doing the particular compilations. Or, for example, if you operate onto your mobile phone, right? You do some instructions on the touch, right? But what happens when you touch on the screen? So the program, the hardware and software, they convert those in the form of instructions, right? And then that instructions is being sent to the processor. Similarly, here also these commands are going to take the requirements from you as an end user because it's an interface you're going to connect, and then you just put it up or you just send those requests, and then according you will get the response there. For example, in Windows you have the command prompt, right? So it's used to interact with the operating system. So similarly, it's like the same purpose over here.
Oh, like we can say like this is the interface between Jenkins and Docker image.
Of course, it's an interface which is being given so that Jenkins can interact with Docker.
With okay, okay, thank you. Yeah.
Jenkins is, guys, a free tool. It's not a paid tool. From automation engineers, yes, you can go for a DevOps engineer. Not only DevOps engineer, a lot of my friends have went on to the AWS cloud engineer and all. They have also moved on that part. Developers cannot replace DevOps engineer, because apart from CI/CD, there are a lot of other concepts which is there, and developers don't have that kind of a work to to contribute there. So there are very few organizations where developers are involved in CI/CD practices, but it's just one of the aspects there. No, promote DevOps engineer should not be aware of any programming languages there.
Yeah, no, Sivaram here. How the difference between Jenkins Tower, Jenkins and Bambus?
Jenkins and
Jenkins Towers and
Jenkins
Bamboo.
Tower.
Yeah.
There is no tool such Jenkins Tower. It's known as Ansible Tower. So it's a GUI interface of the Ansible tool. So Jenkins Tower, there is no tool there.
Okay, that
They call it
Bambus.
as Ansible Tower.
Okay, and Bambus.
Bamboo?
Yeah, Bamboo. That
See,
also
these are
one of
the
the.
substitute tools there. Just like you have a Linux, you have a Windows, right?
Okay.
So you have a Lenovo, you have a Dell. These are the substitutes. They are, doing the same kind of a work, but different interfaces and different tools altogether.
Okay, it is also integration tool or how it is?
Yes, yes, it's also integration tools.
Okay. That the difference means what is the advantage over the Jenkins?
Advantage is every tool is having its own GUI interfaces. We talk about that difference, in our particular course also. For example, Jenkins is a free tool, Bamboo is a paid tool. Bamboo is having less integrations, Jenkins is having more integration. So that kind of differences are there.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Yep. Abhi, so we definitely DevOps is responsible for CI/CD, but there are a lot of other aspects also for which the DevOps is responsible. So he is a primary person who is taking care of all the automation for the development teams. So big companies uses Jenkins a lot because it's a very popular tool, and they are basically using that stuff there. Software development engineers can definitely switch to DevOps because it's a good proposition, and it's a good thing available there. Priyanka, you don't need to understand the programming languages because the syntax of a pipeline is totally different, which is easy to understand. It's not a typical programming languages where you are creating some classes, some little bit concepts like variables, loops, and all that stuff is used there. But Jenkins pipeline is having its own syntax only. And Jenkins provides a very good help on that, creating those pipelines. A lot of DevOps professionals are not actually there from the development background. So you don't have to learn Java, .NET, or these things in order to develop the pipelines. Pipelines development is quite easy relatively as compared to the programming language. So we don't consider programming language as a particular prerequisite, but if it's like you are aware of that, that would be great.
Yeah, if you write the pipelines, you have to know the Groovy language or how it is, or you can
Not
write.
entirely. Certain syntaxes are required, which we are anyways are going to be talked about in the sessions, but it's not a major, that you have to take a separate course of a Groupie, nothing like that.
Okay, you can write with Python code also.
Pipelines are written into the particular Groovy format and the Jenkins format, not in the Python, but Python is a separate tool. So for Python, definitely you have to learn that concept completely.
Okay.
So Anuj, one thing like for Docker images and all, PowerShell scripting is required. Like I've
No,
seen
PowerShell is
some
not
places.
down. PowerShell is not required, so depends, right? Because Docker is used on Linux also, right? So Linux PowerShell is
So,
not having any kind of significance on Linux. So Linux we can
so
run the PowerShell
how we can access the
using
Docker
the
images?
Docker CLIs. So Docker command line is already available there, so you don't need PowerShell or batch scripts or any kind of those stuff there. Docker itself is providing its own CLIs there. So it's a different tool. Like when you talk about the tools, you talk about the different commands, different interfaces. That's how you interact with the specific tool there. For example, Jenkins comes with a GUI, but Docker comes with a CLI command line interface. That's a different process.
So actually, watching one video. So I've seen like PowerShell they were using for accessing like the Docker images which they created. like
No, it's not like
that's
that. When you see the videos, there are a lot of background concept which comes in the picture. He might be running those particular Docker related commands onto a PowerShell command line, maybe into a Windows platform, right? So, but if you are
yeah.
connected with a Linux platform, so PowerShell is not required. So it's not a prerequisite of the Docker. It's just like he was on Windows and he was comfortable with the PowerShell command line, so he was just firing up the Docker commands.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. So now I will be handing over the session. Okay, Pramod, your question is that major disadvantage. The disadvantages is very less. I mean, Jenkins is an open source tool, so definitely there are some GUI components which is not that much rich, that much popular there, because of course it's a free tool, so you may not get a kind of that much rich environment or a GUI interface, but it's a decent UI interface which is available there. So now Sachin and team can actually take over the particular session for related to the course duration, cost, and all that factors. So Sachin, you there?
Hello. Actually, have a doubt
Yeah.
related to us, automation testing. How actually automation tester will be a part of this CICD, because automation testing will be there and automatically after build, automation test cases will be triggered. So how it
You
will
have
be
to pass on these test cases. Now you have to give these test cases to a DevOps engineer, and DevOps engineer will be integrating those things. So your role will be
so
like only to develop these test cases.
okay, like frequently we have to change our test cases, or
Yes.
because frequently build will be triggered,
Yes.
so based on the trigger
No.
or changes we have to automate our test cases,
Once the
is it?
automation test cases are written, that's done. If there is a new functionality, then only you have to change the test cases. So that's a process you have to follow.
Okay, yeah, got it. Thank you.
Hey, buddy, I have a one quick question regarding career path. Hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yes, so my friend, he just have a networking and security background, and right now he just want to jump into DevOps team, and he was really unsure about how tough it's going to be. Whether being a developer, I told him to choose just be a developer. He was really interested being a DevOps person. So, what do you suggest?
Uh, he's the developer right now.
No, he just completed a course. He was 2 years younger than me, so he just completed networking and security course. So he
The
was really
security.
interested, not interested in his course anymore.
See, if he have done the security, then if he can go for the DevOps, then he can actually go for a DevSecOps kind of a roles also, which is very popular nowadays. Because networking, it's a very old school now, because a lot of things are automated there, and the kind of packages are also very less in case of networking. But if we can
Yes,
go
that's the
for the
reason he just want to shift. So
so if we go for the DevOps, then DevSecOps can be a good opportunity. And there are very few people are there in the DevSecOps. I mean, I'm getting a lot of training requirements, but due to the time crunch, I'm not able to handle that. And after COVID, there is a huge demand of that. So I would suggest that try to go for the DevSecOps. If not DevSecOps, DevOps or the security, these are the good opportunities right now. They are having good packages and opportunities there.
all right, thanks, buddy.
One question.
Yeah.
As an operations engineer who has always worked on Windows servers, where can I start my DevOps journey? I mean, what should be my
Linux.
first learning?
Mm,
Linux.
yeah.
Okay,
Because
and I have
Windows
done.
in
I have a Linux certification as well. RH, the first one, the Linux Service Admin, SA Admin 1 and SA Admin 2. I'm preparing for the second one, RHEL. So after that, what should I start with?
See, the thing is that Windows is almost obsolete nowadays, because .NET technologies are becoming compatible with the Linux. So Linux is a good thing to go, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely Linux you should be going. On top of that, you can go for the DevOps related stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
that be a good opportunity for you to go in that way, because DevOps also, having a lot of exposure with the Linux platform, so it's a good
Mhm.
location where you can go and you can interact. So
So I plan to after Linux, I plan to start with Docker. Will that be a right decision, or should I think of
it's a
something
good
else?
decision. Yep. Yep.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Hey, hello, am I audible? Anil
Yeah.
this side. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I have quick questions. Basically, I'm a test automation engineer, and I wanted to know that is there any course available which covers the DevOps with a QA? I mean, basically Selenium Grid and Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes management, or something like that, where I can understand the complete end-to-end pipeline along with the Selenium Grid. Is there any course that DevOps University provide, or I can find it out? So,
Just reach out to the DevOps University, because I'm not the owner of that, so I may not be aware of all the courses also. So this DevOps course, I understand that from a QA professional, like if you want to go in
Mhm.
the and you want to understand, so definitely you can go with that. But yep, there is a team available over here, so which can actually help you with a particular
Sorry to
courses.
interrupt in between. Can you please share your contact detail over the chat window so that we can contact you later?
Yeah, sure. I will drop my mail and mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
So for
yeah, yeah, yeah.
effective learning and because I mean, guide you a wrong course, in that case, there might be better courses available there, because the courses gets updated frequently. So, it would be better that you reach out directly and, get the proper details there.
Yeah, I'll drop my email ID. So it will be great if you can
Sure,
meet
sure.
there.
We'll
Yeah.
get back to you on this.
Also, please, if you have your call center number or something like that, you can drop it chat. I will call directly there.
Sure, not a problem. We'll provide.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Right. So with this one, we are pretty much done here. So thank you everyone for this wonderful webinar. We keep on doing this webinar, so just stay tuned, and hope to meet you guys in the actual batches which we run there. So of course, these are all topics we will be doing and talking about in quite detailed in the future sessions there.
So, guys, every month we are conducting such webinars. You can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook. We have already provided the links to you over the chat windows, and you'll get the updates for the upcoming webinars we are going to have. And one more thing, I have already declared it at the beginning of the session that we are running an on-spot offer of 10% instant 10% discount on the course fees, and this discount is valid only for the webinar day. So if those people who wants to enroll for this course can avail this offer, can get benefited from this offer, you can go check that link which has been provided to you over the chat window, and you can go visit our website and avail the offer. Guys, one more thing, please provide your valuable feedback on the Google reviews and Trustpilot. The link has been provided to you over the chat window. It will not take much of your time, just 2 minutes of your time, and it will really help us and motivate us actually. So please provide your valuable feedback to us. And thank you so much for joining this session. Thank you, Anuj, for the wonderful information you have provided over the session.